Is this, am I in the right place?
Rock, paper, scissors. Ah! You ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Girl! You ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Okay.
Okay. So me, I go first?
You get a second. Yeah,
I'll go whatever. I'll just get her away.
Okay. We gotta put these in the bloopers. Okay, I think that's good. You'll be one of those friends who tells me if there's something in my teeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have anything in my teeth?
No.
Okay.
Why do I?
Actually. No, you're good.
Hello?
Okay, I gotta do it without laughing. Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am with the awesome Shelly from Early Adventure. She's also a teacher YouTuber. I've actually talked about her on my Instagram and Facebook and everything else. I think on YouTube before too, so she's pretty awesome. She's a teacher YouTuber and we actually live in the same area. She found me on my Instagram story, totally random.
So creepy.
I had like recorded a chicken on my Instagram story one time and she's like, do you by chance live in this area? And so
there's not a lot of places in California where chickens roam free, so I was like, she's gotta be close.
I know, I'm like, what are the chances? So I responded yes, and then we found out we live like 3 miles from each other. So I'm here today to do like a Q&A video. We're just gonna chit chat back and forth, get to know each other a little bit. And I'll make sure to link everything down below. So if you wanna check out her channel, you can click on the links down below. I'm gonna let her introduce herself really quick so that you know who she is, just in case you haven't been to her channel yet. If you haven't, you need to click on the link because it's pretty awesome. So why don't you go ahead and...
Sure. So my name's Shelly. I'm a 3rd grade teacher in this area, and this is going to be my 2nd year teaching. So I've only had 1 full year of teaching, so I'm still learning a ton, and that's why it's awesome to meet other teachers, just to kind of bounce ideas off of one another. And so yeah, if you haven't been to my channel, go ahead and check it out. Yep. And we're gonna get started. Awesome. So we're gonna start with a couple like get to know you teachery questions. So I think our first question is just kind of what made you want to become a teacher? What kind of led you to the point where you are right now?
Yeah. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I've actually been working at a school for the last 10 years, but I started at the school more doing office type of work and was going to school for American Sign Language and something totally different. Yeah. And photography. So I had a small photography business. I got offered a position at the school to teach high school level for, it was like because I was in photography, it was a photojournalism kind of class. So I taught high school level for 2 years and then decided that high school was not my jam. And then surprise, we found out we were pregnant, my husband and I, and then I went back to school. And really the real reason I got started in teaching was because I just basically kind of like discovered this love for primary age. And as a young person myself, the school that I graduated from, there were actually a lot of teachers who helped support me at that school. And so when I went back to work there, I started aiding in some of the primary grades and just kind of discovered this like love of teaching and love of like that primary age. And so there were a lot of other educators who helped inspire me, and I began to see them work in their classroom and everything, and I was like, you know what, I think this is what I want to do. And there was this quote which was like totally spoke to my heart. Every time I clocked in at the school, the quote said, they may not remember what you taught them, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, isn't it the best?
I love it. I know.
Like, it's so true. It's so true.
So true.
And if I think back, and I'm sure if you think back to your childhood, it's like those teachers who made those impactful, you know, times in your life were the ones who made you feel special and loved. And
totally. I think that's like a quote that got me through my 1st year too, because the whole time I'm like, I'm failing, like I suck at what I'm doing, but then I'm like, you know what, they're not even gonna remember 99% of the stuff that I say.
Yeah.
But I know that they love me and I know that I love them, so yeah. Aww. You learned so many fun things doing these videos.
So what about you? What made you?
So I went to school for something totally different. I went to school for kinesiology because fitness is another passion of mine. And at the time, excuse me, at the time I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I knew that that was a passion. So I ended up getting my undergrad degree at San Diego in kinesiology. Loved it, but at like year 3 I was like, this is not what I want to do. This is not like filling my soul. So I took a couple years off after school and I just traveled all around the world, and I kind of had this weird aha moment. And I knew I always really loved kids, and like I mentioned this in a previous video, I'd always like play school and things like that. And I think I deep down knew I always wanted to be a teacher, but I kind of struggled with this like, is it good enough? You know, I don't know, that weird
Sure.
complex that you have.
Yeah.
And so I think my husband actually was just kind of like, that's what you're meant to do. Like the more I hung out with kids, and I was volunteering a lot, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And if I don't feel like it's my thing, I won't pursue it. And it was totally my thing. So yeah, now I teach 3rd grade in the area. It's been fun.
So like, when you do like, how did you get involved with kids though? Like,
so
you know what I mean?
yeah. So my uncle was a director for this nonprofit called A Touch of Understanding, and it's here local. It's actually an awesome program. And what it is they come into different elementary schools, and they kind of implement a workshop, and it's like a disability workshop, if you will. So they have different centers. Like there's a wheelchair center, so the kids sit in wheelchairs and feel, and like, you know, kind of discover what it's like to be in a wheelchair. They have a blindfold center where they blindfold the kids, and they have white canes, and so they actually get to feel what it's like to have some of these disabilities, just to kind of, you know, teach them to be a little more accepting and have a little more empathy for what these kids with disabilities are going through. Anyway, long story short, I was volunteering with him, and I told him this story too. I was literally sitting in the back of a 4th grade classroom when I was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do.
That was like your aha moment.
Yeah, because the kids were asking like such good questions, and like that was a day that they'll always remember. And I was like, oh my God, I want to give this to kids like forever. It was so cool.
I love that. I love that. Okay, can I just share something that reminded me? So I think my aha moment was when, after I had my son and he was like 3 years old, we had like a family gathering, and I had gone to like, I went through this like Goodwill phase of like thrifting. I don't know what it was, but I went to these thrift stores and I got a bunch of basically like hands-on learning type of stuff. So sand table, rice table, and I had like Pinterest DIY'd a ton of stuff in my backyard. And my friend, who is also a kindergarten teacher, came over, and she's like literally my entire backyard was set up like a kindergarten classroom, like the entire thing. And she came over and she's like, I'm just gonna point this out, but I think you might be good for kindergarten, to teach kindergarten, because like your entire backyard is a kindergarten classroom.
Oh my God.
And so I had that like first, like, oh yeah, maybe this is what I want to do. And that age, my son was about that age, and so I was like, that was like really the first time that I ever thought about it.
So then this year, are you only doing kindergarten? Because I know that you were saying that you did a little, like half and half.
I did. So last year I did half ELA in a 3rd and 4th grade classroom, half the day, and then half of the day in a kindergarten classroom.
And then this year,
I'm full-time teacher. Yeah, so I'm full-time kindergarten, and actually my master teacher from last year from kindergarten was the same lady who was the one who was like, I think you're.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so it's kind of
funny.
kind of tight. So.
What would your students be surprised to find out about you?
Probably that I have a YouTube channel. Yeah. I mean, honestly, some of them know, some of the older ones, because I don't know, I think they probably, you know how like it has suggested videos? I think that they probably found me on YouTube that way, and I've had a couple remarks from older students about it, but I don't like talk about that, and I don't really share that on my channel. So, I mean, not my channel. In my classroom, I'm like really old enough to know. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the YouTube channel would be a surprise. What about you?
That would have been at the beginning of the year, but my kids found my channel and just told everyone at the entire school.
Really?
So that kind of, the cat was out of the bag there. I don't know, that's hard because I feel like I'm super transparent with my kids. Maybe that no, because they know how old I am.
How old are you?
26.
Okay.
How old are you?
30.
Okay. Maybe they would be surprised to find out that I've traveled as much as I have. I mean, they know that I've traveled, but I don't think they know like to the extent of where I've been. And I don't know if they can really wrap their head around it. Maybe that. Because I don't know. They know a lot of stuff about me. I'm like an open book. I need a filter.
Yeah.
This is kind of good. I'm actually thinking about doing a video on this. Let me know if you're interested. Because I've had a lot of you ask like, what do you do on the first day of school, especially as a new teacher, because it's like terrifying. So what are some traditions that you have for your first day of school, or like things that you like to do on your first day of school, I guess?
Well, one thing that I do as far as traditions, I always take a picture of the kids, and I have this year I'm gonna do like a classroom ruler, like on the door, so that I can see by the end of the school year how tall they've grown, you know what I mean? And then I have a sign, actually Target right now. Have you been to Target?
I'm going after this, I'm not even kidding.
I think I'm gonna go to because like honestly there's so much teacher stuff at Target right now, but they have these signs, and I'm gonna use my Cricut to like customize first day of school or whatever. So I always take a picture of them on the first day of school, and then on the last day of school I do that, and then I print that and frame it for their parents. It's one of the gifts, and it's a super cheap gift too,
It's a good idea.
And then obviously procedures.
Yeah.
Go over all the procedures and stuff.
That probably takes a long time in kindergarten.
Oh my god. It's like a month. It's like a month of procedures because they're so little and they don't know. Even just going to school is a new concept for all of them. So
I have a friend that teaches kindergarten, and she was like, you don't understand. The first day of school, you have to teach them like how to pick up the lunch tray. Yeah. How to scoop your food. Like, oh my gosh.
Everything. How to wipe your butt.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're like, Mom and Dad, please teach them that before you come to school.
Like, I know one teacher who like draws like a spider in the bottom of their toilet, and it's like, aim for that. Aim for that. What about you? Are there any traditions?
I mean, I don't know. I've only had one first day of school, so I think just a lot of like icebreaker type things, and then the procedures. I don't have any like
that's a good one.
Specific like traditions. Maybe I'll develop some. I like the picture idea. That's actually a good idea.
You know what? Okay, so I wouldn't say the first day of school. I'd say like the first month of school, we do this thing called Student of the Day. So I have a jar with all the students' names in it, and it's a product in my store. I'll totally email it to you. Yeah. You basically pull a student's name out, and then they get like a crown, and then the kids ask questions, and then we do this like, every kid gets a, it's like a worksheet, but it has questions about the student of the day, and then they draw a picture, and then I take all those worksheets, staple them, and then I send it home with that student at the end of the day.
I remember doing something like that when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, and then it's like a little memento. So I think that's really the first month though, but that's something that we do.
I didn't do this year, but I think I'm gonna do it after talking to one of my colleagues, but she does like a student of the week. Yeah. And so they have like, she has like a special desk that he or she sits in, and then they have like, they get to bring in photos and things like that. Probably more for little older kids, but
I like that though, because then it's like you can even incorporate like cultural, cultural diversity and like backgrounds and all that kind of thing.
And it lasts pretty long throughout the year if you have a lot of kids. How many kids are in your class?
This year I have like 15 or 16. I know.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Jealous. I know. How many do you have? Do you know?
At one point I had 27. This year I don't know yet. We have, the most we can have is 27.
Oh.
But that last year I didn't have any less than 24.
Oh,
so it's kind of in that window, which to me wasn't that bad, because in 4th and 5th you can have 33, which I'm like, I can't imagine having 10 more kids.
In kindergarten, like once you get to a certain number, I think it's like 18, you get a full-time aide.
See, that's so awesome.
I mean, 18's a lot for kindergarten though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're so, I mean, you're not grading papers, but the work in the classroom, like training, and even teaching.
And their attention span's so short.
Yeah, you gotta
have
like
a million things planned throughout the day.
Totally. But I love that idea of your colleague doing the student week. That's a great idea.
I think I'm gonna try it this year.
Okay, what are your biggest teaching pet peeves?
Woo! And my kids watch my channel, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm gonna say. My like mantra in my classroom is no whining, and I think that's because that's how I was raised. Yeah. I hate that like and I like stress that at the beginning of the year. Like absolutely no whining, and the kids are so trained that they're like, no whining, which is awesome. No whining. That's a good one. That's like my really, really big one. I don't let them have plastic water bottles, because like when they crunch them, when I'm trying to teach, it like drives me insane. Those are my big ones. And then just like kids when they're mean to one another. I just hate that. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But I don't know. What about you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me think.
This is gonna be like an hour venting session.
I know, I'm like, what can I say? Biggest pet peeves. I think I really try to emphasize classroom community in my classroom, and I think it's similar to what you're saying. It's just that we're all here for each other, and all here to support each other, and just because, and in kindergarten, that's such a big concept for them. That's a hard concept for them to wrap their minds around at that young age. So I'd say my biggest pet peeves are just being kind, you know, and whining. And probably one of my bigger pet peeves is like not break my stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, and one of my key things that I say, I'm like, I don't go to your house and break your toys, so don't come to my house.
But I will.
But I will. So, and that doesn't happen a ton, but for some of the kiddos, you know, especially in kindergarten, it's like, this is all new for them, and they're not used to it, and they may have different standards at their home, and so coming into a different environment and having different standards for taking care of things. But that's one of the things that I really try to emphasize, is just, we're here together, and this is our little classroom and our little world, so we have to take care of it and be respectful. So I'd say like, breaking stuff, losing stuff, getting up in the middle of a lesson,
talking when I'm talking.
Yes. Oh my god,
it drives me insane.
Yeah. So like, and that's just all like training and teaching, you know. But
I mean, but I don't know if they ever really get it.
I know it's a hard one for some of them. It's like, what's that book? My Mouth is a Volcano. Have you read?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. who someone mentioned on Instagram, it might even have been you, but someone mentioned it, and my class last year was like,
Yeah.
I bought it, I read it 3 times in like a month.
Yeah, you're like, don't be this kid. No. But yeah, I think like speaking out during carpet time, that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, please.
Yeah.
But I got a microphone, that's really helped. So I got one of those little like wireless microphones, and so you can like pass it around.
Idea.
And they love it. Like they'll all sit quiet.
Amazon?
Just Amazon. It was like $30, and it's Bluetooth, so you can like sync it to your phone and play like a song on it, like with YouTube, and so they can sing to it. So like for kids who have a hard time during carpet time, it's just like motivational for them to like, okay, if you sit quiet, I'm looking for a student who's sitting quietly and who wants the microphone, who is that student? And so I just hand it to them, and then that's kind of been a good motivation.
That would be really cool. I'm thinking too, just like an older grade thing, like for reading, kids that like hate reading out loud.
Yes. Yeah.
To maybe like,
all
right.
Yeah, during reading
Something
groups.
else to my
Do you
cart.
do reading
Yeah.
groups? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Okay. I don't know how to turn your phone on. She's the prepared one. She prepared all the questions. So.
I mean, I don't have a life over summer, so you have kids and other things.
Oh, we should ask each other what we're doing over summer. Okay. What are we doing over summer? What do teachers do over summer? We just sleep all day.
I mean, at this point, that's how I feel. You probably do a lot more over summer because you have like multiple.
But you're like wanting to get in on that. So.
I know. I'm working on it.
Your summer is going to be changing.
Yeah.
But you got married. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So I got married at the end of May. So technically we were still in school, but like school ended June 5th, June 6th. We were on a plane to Italy for our honeymoon. Really? So we were gone. Yeah, it was awesome. We were gone for about 3 weeks.
So wait, did you wrap up your classroom? How did that work?
Yeah, it was like crazy insane. Like when the kids walked out the door, my classroom was ready to go.
Really?
Yeah, but I have to move classrooms this year, which I'm actually really excited about. But
are you changing grades?
No, no, just rooms. There was a huge shift as far as grades go, grade levels and stuff.
Okay.
It's actually for the best. But so we went to Italy for 3 weeks, and then I was home for 2 days, and then I was in San Diego for the last week. So I've just this is like the first 3-day stretch that I've been in. Well, I almost said where we live. In where we live.
Home.
In home. Yes. Yeah. First 3 weeks home, or 3 days. And so from here on out, I don't have any other trips planned, which I'm honestly kind of glad about, because I do have a lot of like kind of teaching things that I want to get dialed in before the school year starts.
When do you guys start?
August 16th.
You guys start so early. We start September 6th.
After Labor Day. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's some beautiful things about private school, you know?
I know.
It's like,
sorry.
So yeah, so I just have a couple things. I was talking to her earlier, or throughout the time we've known each other, how I want to get my TPT store kind of rolling, and I just have some resources that I want to make for my classroom, and like I said, I have to move classrooms. So.
Yeah, that's a big job. Those are all big jobs.
Yeah. What about you?
As far as what I do over the summer, pretty much the same thing. I base it at the end of the school year. I make like a list of things that I want to change for the next year.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And then over the summer, I just try to like check those off. I do schedule all my, we go on 10 field trips.
Oh, that's so awesome though.
Oh my god. Well, you're saying that now, but in kindergarten. Okay,
I know.
It's a little bit overwhelming for me last year because it was really the first time that I had done it, and I was in charge of doing all of the field trips, going on all the field trips. But I always try to schedule those over the summer so that I don't have to worry about it. And then we have like this whole requisition process you have to go through, paperwork. Do you guys have to do all of that where you like submit our paper? I feel like our paperwork is like, it's just a longer process.
Right.
And so I schedule field trips, get ready for the upcoming school year, and then as much as I can, every single day I try to commit like 3 or 4 hours to my Teachers Pay Teachers business, and everything that I make for a TPT, we call it TPT, is directly in conjunction with what I need for my classroom.
Yeah.
And during the school year, I don't really do as much on TPT as just because you're working full time, and the first 2 months are just like crazy and everything. So yeah, and then my classroom's getting demolished. Like, let me show you a video.
What?
Okay, hang on. That is my classroom.
Why?
They're remodeling everything.
So
I know,
awesome.
I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. I don't know if it'll work.
Look at that. That's her
This
classroom.
is my classroom.
But you don't have to go back till September, so you have time.
Yeah, so
When is
okay.
it done?
Well, it won't be done till the end of August. Or wait, middle of August. So I'm gonna have like a week. And they're like already behind. I mean, honestly, I'm like, I don't even know how. So right now I'm like stalking Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for like good deals and stuff.
Do you know like the kind of storage you're gonna have?
No, and I'm stressing out about it because I already didn't have a lot of storage, and they're ripping out all those cabinets. So I don't know.
maybe there'll be like a, you don't know, you walk in and like just dreams.
I know they're gonna do a barn door.
Oh,
I know. So I'm like, there's gonna be a barn door that separates one classroom. There's gonna be 2 classrooms in that building, and there's gonna be a barn door that separates the 2 classrooms. Which I'm like,
oh my god, is it kindergarten? Oh no, because you only do 1 grade level, correct? Right?
Yeah. So we do pre-K and kindergarten in my class.
First, second,
and then it'll be a class. I'm not sure if it'll be first, second,
yeah,
or third,
another grade.
Yeah, another grade.
Oh
so
my god, that's exciting.
But yeah, so I like last summer I spent basically the whole summer getting ready for the school year in my classroom, but I kind of did like a classroom flip and reorganized and purged and stuff. I don't have to do that this summer, but I am itching to get in. So when they're done,
I should be doing this summer, but I haven't been here, so now I'm like,
but you don't have okay, so when you got your classroom, I'm just curious too, as a teacher who teaches at a private school. So when I came in to kindergarten, there was already like a bunch of curriculum and a bunch of activities that the teacher handed to me. So like, how does it work for you?
So when I got hired, there was already 2 3rd grade teachers, and they just added another one. So it wasn't like I was taking over a classroom.
Oh.
The classroom I actually moved into was a 4th grade classroom, so everything that in there was 4th grade stuff. So I had to pass it off to the other 4th grade teacher, and I basically was just given the state curriculum, which is like 3 boxes of stuff, but it's stuff that I've talked about this before, I don't necessarily love. Yeah. So I ended up pulling a lot of stuff from Teachers Pay Teachers or creating stuff or whatever. But yeah, it was basically a starting from scratch type of situation, which...
You're like the perfect candidate for Teachers Pay Teachers because you're gonna be creating stuff already.
I know. And I have so much stuff, and like people have already been like, where is it? And I'm like, that's why I need to pick your brain about how to like upload stuff. And like,
let's do
my biggest thing is like that credit page.
Oh yeah,
like the like little stuff, you know? I don't know. And I don't know how to make things editable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we can sit down another time.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically what I do over the summer. It's basically what you do over the summer.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question for you, and this doesn't apply to me, but I want to ask you since we're on that topic. Like maybe top 1 or 2 pieces of advice for anyone that's wanting to start a Teachers Pay Teachers store.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You just have to like go into the process knowing that it's like you're drinking from a fire hydrant. I mean, there's so much to learn, and just be patient. I have another friend who teaches with like in my school who started on Teachers Pay Teachers. I kind of went into Teachers Pay Teachers knowing that I wanted this to be something that was a legitimate source of income for me. And so I kind of went like probably too much, to be honest. I've had over the last year really had to pull back and get more balanced. And I know we have a question about that too. How do you balance everything? But I'd say my top tips are just like, be patient with yourself or whatever. And then my other one would be, there's a ton of resources online, and actually through Facebook, there's a bunch of Facebook pages that you can go to. Wallflowers, I think it's like TPT Wallflowers is one. And in each of the Facebook groups, there's like this little search bar, so you can type in like how to upload a project, or how to, you know, create a project, or tips for PowerPoint, or what to use to create your products. All of that kind of stuff. And then reach out to people. That was another thing that I did when I first got started, and I got connected with some really awesome sellers, and I'm so thankful for those virtual friendships. So and then just know that like you're not gonna make $1 million. Yeah, like it's just not gonna happen. Like those I feel like teacherspayteachers.com is a website that has over the years become more and more saturated, because when people first started, those, you know, we call them like, what do we call them, like the originals?
Yeah, the OGs.
Yeah, the OGs. Yeah, exactly. They're the ones who made a ton of money right up front, and then everybody saw that and everybody's like rushing to the web. So you're not going to make a ton of money right up front, but it does pay off over time. So if you give yourself like a good solid year, it's just residual income that helps.
I think that's good advice for YouTube too, because people are always like, oh, do you make money? But I think if you do something like solely for the purpose of like that being your only income,
right,
that's your main driving force. And I don't think your content and your products are as, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's probably more for YouTube. But
yeah, what made you start YouTube?
Oh God, that's a good question. Honestly, since I was going into my first year of teaching, and I was like freaking out, and I was all over YouTube trying to find content and like advice and like things to do, and there wasn't a ton of like information for first year teachers. There was like a some, but not like anything you know, overwhelming that I really wanted to watch. And I kind of always just like loved the YouTube world and like the idea of vlogging and kind of like documenting my journey. Yeah. And then so I talked about it for like 6 months, and then for my birthday my husband just bought me a camera, and he was like, now you don't have an excuse. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Well, then I started, and then
you like have the personality for it.
That's what he says.
You kind of got to be like a little, and don't take this wrong, you kind of got to be a chatterbox and just be, and it was so funny because I did the same thing. It took me like a year. I had like all of these like not pretend, but like trial videos.
Yeah,
sitting down in front of the camera and then talking and then deleting them.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit of courage to muster it up.
Right, and you're putting yourself out there on the internet, right? So
yeah.
That's always a really scary thing, and it was something that I didn't know if I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But eventually I was just kind of like, you know what do you have to lose? So
yeah.
Here we are. This is kind of our last question, and I've mentioned this in videos previously because it's something I feel really passionate about, and that's how do you maintain balance, like with work and personal and relationships and all that stuff.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So for me, I learned this about myself like kind of years ago. I have to set like kind of specific parameters for myself in order to make sure that I'm not overwhelming myself, because especially in teaching, I think you can become really obsessed and you can become really overworked, and you can and you just become blind to it because you love it. So for me, like certain parameters that I put into place, I don't allow parents to contact me after 5:30. I say I won't talk to you after 5:30. I do not let myself stay past 4 o'clock unless like one day a week I'll have a late night. But I have to like cut that off, because you'll know if you don't teach, or if you do teach, like time is like, it's a time warp in your classroom. You can be sitting down and all of a sudden you're like 3.5 hours later and you're like, whoa. So things like that. And then as far as like my personal life, I just make sure to schedule time with the people that I love, like my parents and my siblings, and then just making sure you're doing things hobby-wise that aren't teaching related. Which is hard because I feel like as teachers, teaching is a hobby as well. And so, especially if you have other things like teachers pay teachers, and I'm sure that'll be another challenge once I get my foot in the door there. Just shutting off your teacher brain, it's so hard to do.
I feel like along that same line, it's like you said, when you first got your classroom, it was, you got basically the boxes of the curriculum from the state, you know? And so as a teacher, it's like, there's that quote, you only get out of it what you put into it. And I feel like as a teacher, the struggle for me, and I feel like what you're saying too, is like, there's always more you can put into it. And so like, oh, I want to have like even for example, the cutest classroom or whatever, or I want my students to hit this certain standard or get to this certain level, and you're always struggling, I'm always struggling to like, how do I attain a satisfactory goal for myself that I can like just be okay with and not let it consume me time-wise, you know? As far as work is concerned, I'm struggling with my work. So as far as work is concerned, I just feel like I have to do the same thing. I basically have to set like, and I have to be really deliberate about on my calendar, on my schedule. I basically sit down every month, the beginning of the month, actually the end of the month, and I do a whole bunch of things. I do planning for the upcoming month. My husband and I have this meeting, we call it, it's like a business meeting for him and I, just so that we don't talk about finances and any of those like hot topics like that could cause a fight, you know? So that when date night comes, we're not talking about business stuff, because those are always things that could potentially cause a fight or whatever. So we have a business meeting at the end of every month and talk about finances, upcoming goals, kids and everything. And then I try to schedule out and plan my month.
#marriage advice. I'm gonna write that down.
I'm telling you, we didn't get that. We got that tip from somebody else, and like the 5th year of marriage, we're like, we're always fighting when we go on dates. And she's like, you just need to have a business meeting. I'm like, what do you mean? So smart. Wow. But yeah, so then you just talk about all those things. But and then I just plan out my week and month, and then I also, at the beginning of the year, and this is kind of like what are they, like New Year's resolution type of thing, but I have a list of things that I want to hit for the year, and then I just try to be as organized as I can. And there's some months that meeting doesn't happen, and because it's like November and you're trying to get a Thanksgiving craft done or whatever, you know, you're trying to like there's programs going on or whatever at the school. But the more that I can do that, the more I feel like my life is balanced. Just being deliberate with your time and scheduling your time. So I'm not good at it all the time, and I struggle. And I think the thing that I struggle most with, though, I'm like all about quotes today. I don't know what it is, but I'm serious. That quote, "Wherever you are, be all there," is from a missionary who I would encourage you to look up his story. It's totally inspiring. But basically what that means is wherever you're at physically, be there mentally present, you know? And so whether it's at school with your kids, you're not thinking about something else, or whether you're with your own children, you're not thinking about work or your spouse, you know? And so that's one of the challenges too that I'm like,
it's the hardest thing. Like, and I don't think any teacher will ever be balanced. Like,
no,
it's impossible. but it's something that you could always work on.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And I think that's the beauty of teaching. It's like you can always get better, you can always improve, and there's always something to be doing.
Yes.
I think that's why we're drawn to the profession, but at the same time, you gotta like reel it back and know when it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
I think your boundaries are really good. I think you're, the way that you said, even just like having that one day that's a late night, I think I'm gonna do that, because I don't have that. I'll have a time where it's like, okay, I'm leaving by 4:30 or whatever.
Right.
But having one late night where it's like,
Yeah, you can just,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And then some nights I'm there till like, we get out at 3:10 and I'm gone by 3:15.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know, just having that balance too.
All right, guys, well, that wraps it up. It's been a joy filming with you.
So much fun.
You're so sweet. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can comment down below. Comment down below like when you go to school, when you start, and whether you're a student or teacher, or if you're just somebody else, what's your profession? And then I will link all of Shelly's links down below so you can go follow her and stalk her. Tell her I sent you. And yeah, we'll see you guys, I guess, in the next video.
Okay, bye.
I'm like gurgling. We gotta put these in the bloopers. Okay, I think that's good. Hello? Okay, I gotta do it without laughing. Hello? Hello? Tell me, like, you'll be one of those friends who tells me if I have something in my teeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have anything in my teeth?
No.
Okay.
Why do I?
Actually,
Yeah.
no, you're good.